Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, Kiddos Corral. I'm Heidi, and I'm so glad that you are here to join us today. Today I'm going to be doing a cook with me video, and I'm going to be sharing my lasagna roll recipe. Now these are spinach lasagna rolls. This is something that I love to make because it is a little bit time consuming, but the great thing about it is that I make for more than one meal. So I'll make up one that we're actually going to eat for supper this evening, and then another one that I'm going to pop into the freezer for another evening for supper or lunch, whatever. I love making these types of meals because like Sunday comes and we get up early, we get dressed, we go to church, and then we come back, and it's kind of like a lazy day for us most usually, and we don't always feel like, you know, making a lot of food, and it is very pricey to go out to eat every week. So I like making these meals and having them on hand because I can just slip it into the oven, just heat it all up because there is no meat in this at all. And basically everything is cooked. You just want all the cheese and all of that to get nice and bubbly in your oven, and then it's ready to serve. Like I said, it's a little bit time consuming, but I think it's worth it because honestly, if you didn't want to just make 2 meals, you could make 3 meals or 4 meals and just freeze them and you would have them. And I love making meals ahead of time. I think it is awesome and it works for this family. And I keep my freezer pretty full of items that I can pretty much pop into the oven and just heat up, or you know, doesn't take a very long, extensive amount of time to you know, to cook. For those days that are super busy. We're coming into school months. The school buses are already, you know, coming through my neighborhood picking up kids. I don't actually have any children in school, but I do have one in college. But I will say that if you are a busy family like we are, having these meals on hand, this is the way to go. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys how to make my spinach lasagna rolls. So for this recipe, I just want to quickly show you what you're going to need. You're going to need, okay, so if I wasn't going to double this, I would only need 1 package of the lasagna noodles. And the very first thing that's time consuming is you have to boil these and get these soft so that you can stuff them and roll them up as rolls. So got that. A thing of ricotta cheese, and this is enough actually to, depending on how much ricotta you like to use inside your roll, really will determine on how much ricotta you want to buy. This is enough for us. I don't think that I overly stuff my rolls with the ricotta cheese because we use a lot of mozzarella on the top. Now you can use frozen spinach, but you have to thaw it and you have to squeeze and remove all the excess liquid from it because you do not want it to be soggy. But I just use the Popeyes spinach, and I just make sure it's drained and I squeeze it out and make sure that there is no liquid in it, and I find that it's as easy as the frozen. So that is totally entirely up to you whether or not you want to use frozen spinach. You could even use fresh spinach if you want to. I don't. I usually tend to save my fresh spinach for my salad mixes, my green smoothies, and my eggs in the morning. So that's how I utilize my fresh spinach. But this is the spinach that I use for this. Then I use spaghetti sauce, and I just use one that comes from Aldi. And you're going to need 1 jar of that. And then obviously mozzarella cheese, not this much mozzarella cheese. I told somebody in my household I needed mozzarella cheese and they went to Costco. So apparently they thought I needed the mother load of mozzarella cheese, which is fine because I'm going, whatever's left I'm going to bag up in, I do 3-cup container, or not containers, but Ziploc bags, and then I freeze it, and then I have it on hand for pizza and other things that I will need mozzarella for. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my large pot, fill it full of hot water, get it boiling, and let's get these lasagna noodles cooked up and get them soft so that we can stuff them and make them delicious. Okay, I just put my hot water on, and I'm using a large pot. Probably could use an even bigger pot than this, but I just do 1 box at a time, make 1 pan. While I'm making up the first pan, I let the second batch of noodles from the second box boil so I can make the second pan for the freezer. You follow me anyways. Okay, so I always make sure that I add salt to my water. And I've got to bring this up to a boil, and then I'm just going to lay my lasagna noodles inside the pot. And you don't want to break your noodles. You want them whole because you have to be able to, you know, stuff them. So what I do is I just put one side into the pot like this. And even though the one other side is still sticking up, it will soften, and eventually I'll be able to push it gently down into the water so it'll boil completely. Okay, so my water is boiling, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop in my noodles. My son stopped by, so I'm fixing him some lunch too. So I just drop in my noodles, just like this. And I'm gonna set my timer for 15. Okay, we are back, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do this. So I have a 9x13 glass pan, and I'm just going to spray this just a little bit with some cooking spray. I may need to get a second one out because there's not much in this one. Yeah, this one's just good. All right, so the first thing you want to do is spray your pan, and I don't spray a whole lot, just a little bit, just so that it ensures that nothing sticks. I have my noodles cooked. If you don't feel they are completely done, don't fret, because you're going to bake this and it will get completely done, or the rest of the way done in the oven. So also don't get upset if your lasagna noodle tears a little bit on the end or whatever, because you're going to roll these up and nobody's going to be able to see that, you know, the imperfections. So I'm going to show you guys these particular lasagna noodles, and how I do it, and how I roll them up and put them in the pan. And then once I get this fully loaded, then I will show you what is next. So I'm going to show you what I do. The first thing I do is I start with the ricotta, and I put it on the noodle. And I just take my spoon and I kind of spread it all the way across the noodle. Just like that. And then I have my spinach. And depending on how much spinach you like, sometimes I go a little bit lighter because I don't think everybody really enjoys the taste of spinach, so I might go just a little bit lighter on them with the spinach. But you can stuff these with ricotta, Parmesan, mozzarella. You can stuff them with mushrooms. I've done zucchini, like chopped zucchini inside of them. So you can honestly make this recipe your own. Just that our family is used to the spinach and ricotta and mozzarella cheese and the sauce, and that is kind of our thing. So I'm going to show you guys. Because this one end of the lasagna roll was a little tore, I'm going to do it inward first so it covers it. And all you want to do is just roll it up. And placing the seam down, then you are going to place it into your baking dish just like so. Alright, let me see if I can't move my camera inward a little bit more, and maybe you guys can see a little bit better on the next one. Okay, so we're going to do ricotta cheese. And if you don't like ricotta, you can use the small curd cottage cheese. I have done that as well. My mother does not like cottage cheese, so if I make something like this when she's going to be here, I don't use ricotta because she doesn't like it. So, which is weird because she's a big cheese person. She loves cheese, but she doesn't care for ricotta cheese. Okay, so now I am going to roll this up all the way, and then in my baking dish I am going to place it seam down right next to the other one that I just did. I think you guys can see. Okay, so we're gonna, now when I get done making my lasagna noodles, what I do is I dump the pot into a large colander and I leave the noodles in the sink with cold water running over them. It stops the cooking process and also cools down the noodles so that you can actually, you know, touch them. Otherwise they would be just too hot and you wouldn't even be able to roll them up. And you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't be burning your hands off trying to roll up your lasagna rolls, right? Okay, I'm going to place it seam down. I'm just going to show you these ones I have on my plate and here in front of me, and then I'm just going to resume doing it and show you the rest of what we need to do so we can have this for supper tonight. Alright, so we're going to roll this up. And if you hear noises, it's because my kids are in the living room and they're getting ready for work and they've got their phones on and watching stuff on TV and stuff. So we're going to put the seam down. We're going to do the next one with the ricotta cheese. I have no idea what they're watching on television, but it's loud. We're going to put the spinach, and then we're going to roll it up. Just like that. And I've got one more here to show you, but I think you guys probably pretty much have the idea down on how to do this. It's pretty simple. You can also stuff these with chicken. I've stuffed them with tuna, salmon. I've stuffed it with whatever I have on hand, really. Crab meat. I've done crab meat and cheese. Really good. But this is the simplest way, and I think the most crowd-pleasing when it comes to kids and family. So there we go. Look how pretty those rolls are. And then I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you what is next to do. I got to dry my hands off so I can stop my camera. Okay, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish this off. Now this is a dozen rolls. If you are feeding a larger crowd, you may want to actually put some in the middle or even do 2 pans, depending on how many. I estimate about 2 rolls per person, and I usually serve this with bread and some salad, and we don't just have it by itself. So depending, if you're just going to make a meal out of this by itself, you may want to do maybe 3 rolls per person. It's pretty nice size serving. So I want to pour over the top of this a whole jar of spaghetti sauce. Now I preferably like the spaghetti sauce with the mushrooms, but the only one that they had was the tomato, basil, and garlic one. I'm going to put a little bit of water in this jar so I can get the rest of the pasta sauce out. And shake it. Alright. Because I want all of that pasta sauce. That's what makes this so yummy. And then you want to open up your mozzarella cheese. And in my case, it's the ginormous bag of mozzarella cheese I'm going to be opening up here. Okay. The humongo bag of the mozzarella cheese. And usually I cover this with about 2 cups of mozzarella. 1.5 cups to 2 cups probably of mozzarella cheese. Just like so. Now I cover mine with foil loosely so that the cheese don't stick to it. And I bake this at about 350 for about 30 minutes or until it's bubbling, nice and bubbly. Now, the reason why I cover it is because I don't want my pasta noodles to dry out. And sometimes it has a tendency of doing that if you don't cover it. But if you feel secure enough and don't cover it. And what I do is usually like the last 5 minutes I'll uncover it, and it will get nice and brown on the outside, and it'll be really pretty. And makes it tasty, because that, you know, when your cheese gets nice and bubbly and browned, it's really, really good. So I'm going to cover this up with foil. I'm going to slip it into my refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and get my, I'm running out of time today, so I'm just going to do a little 8x8 pan with the noodles that I have left for the freezer. But I'm going to cover this with foil, slip this into the refrigerator, and then I'll show you what it looks like after it gets baked tonight for supper. So this is the pan that I am going to freeze. It's just a little 8x8, but there's 8 rolls in there. And usually when I'm going to freeze this, I'll put a little bit of the pasta sauce in the bottom of the pan. I don't know why, but if you pop this into the oven and it is slightly frozen, sometimes it has a tendency of getting a little bit hard or crispy on the bottom. So if I'm going to freeze it, I always add a little bit of the pasta sauce on the bottom, even after I sprayed it, and that seems to keep it from doing that. So I'm going to add the remaining of my spaghetti sauce to this. There we go. I'm going to get a spoon. I thought I had one sitting out, and now I'm knocking my camera around. There we go. Sorry about that. And I'm just going to spread this out. Just like so. Make sure it's nice and covered. And I had one noodle that's over here on this side right here, and it tore really, really badly, but you can't tell, because I hit it, and you're not going to be able to tell when you serve it either, so that's good. Then I want to top this off with cheese. And see, this will be really good. You can serve this with anything. Everybody gets a roll, and you get some salad, and you get some bread, and you know, this is lunch on a Sunday or whatever. So I'm going to cover this with foil, and then this comes with a plastic top that goes over top of it. And I'm just going to pop this into the freezer, and this will be for another day. And then I see you all tonight when I cook the spinach rolls in the oven for dinner. So see you tonight. Okay, I just took the spinach lasagna rolls out of the oven, and they are all ready to eat. The house smells wonderful, and they look so delicious. I cannot wait to dive in. And I'm pairing it tonight with a Caesar salad. I hope y'all enjoyed seeing this recipe. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed cooking with me. Let me know in the comments down below, do you all make lasagna rolls? And if so, how do you make yours? Do you make the chicken Alfredo lasagna rolls? Do you do what I do and do the spinach and ricotta? Let me know from you guys how you guys like your lasagna rolls, because I'm always open to new and fresh ideas. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll be talking to you all again soon. Bye-bye.